Distinct Kusai.
I'm Jukebox Hero.
I'm Scufflewick, and I'm the pretty one.
I'm Jukebox. Jukebox isn't with us today. This is Distinct Kusai.
Are you sure? Because you just said you're Jukebox.
I remember. No.
Anyways,
Anyways, it's just gonna start again. Jukebox isn't here today, and this is Distinct Kusai.
and I'm Scufflewick, and I don't know if I'm my prettiest right now. I woke up about 5 minutes ago, and I had a case of cat paralysis that I had to overcome. That's good time.
Did Stu Bear not want to get off you today? You know,
Stuart did not want to wake. Stuart's my cat. He's a noisy little shit. We love him, but fuck is he noisy.
Did he keep you up last night?
Well, the cat
this
and
morning?
video games mostly.
Yeah.
But yeah, good times.
I'm guessing you were playing Ark, and Stu just wanted to sit on your lap but wouldn't move. It's like, fuck you.
No, like I got off Ark and Cuddles and I think we played probably until 2:30. Probably about 2:30. And then so I get off Ark. Words are hard. Holy shit. I get off Ark and then I grab the cat and like he's just out beside me. The way
And
I
then
have
you
the
kinda,
computer
like,
set up.
Lose
So
time
the way I
there?
have the computer set up is I have a desk, obviously mouse, monitor, keyboard on top of the desk in the center, and then to the left of it is Stu Bear's bed. And so he lays there while I play video games. And occasionally, if he like wakes up and he's like, "Oh, Human, you're still here," I just reach out his paw and like put it on my arm, like, "Hello, I'm here too." So he's fucking adorable. But last night, like, he is out. So I turned the game off and I'm like, "Hey, Stu, bedtime, let's go." He's like, "Meh." So I had to pick him up and carry him into the room. And then, of course, he's second-winded. And so
And then just nuts for the rest of the night.
for like an hour and a half, just meow, meow, meow. So that
Then a
was
pillow.
fun. Yeah, I was tempted. No, Stewie Burr. So yeah, Stuart's a good cat, but he is definitely a cat, and cats are kind of douchebags.
Yeah,
But-
that's their whole prerogative.
Yeah. So
So-
the other thing is he thinks he's learned how to use a door handle. And I have in my bedroom, I've got like a 10-foot by 10-foot bedroom. And because I moved the office into the big one, but there's the door, and then beside the door, there's the speaker, the entertainment stand, like the TV stuff. Like I have home theater set up in my bedroom.
Yeah.
One of the speakers is right beside the door. Like if you open the door, the little latch part on the door that goes into the locking mechanism on the wall actually goes over the speaker. Like it's perfect fit. Oh, there's Stuber getting on his bed now. But the problem with that speaker being so close is it's the right height that Stewie will sit on top of it and just like smack the door handle over and over. And you've heard when people like rattle a door handle, like
Yeah.
That's what he does until I let him out.
Yeah, I could see that happening with a cat,
Yeah.
especially with Stewie.
Well, fuck, is he cute though? I just really like him.
Dopey cat.
He's a cat. Hey, Bear.
So today, though, we're going to be talking about how we feel about spring, the thing that was supposedly here more than 30 days ago, but it's still snowing outside.
No, so something that people don't realize in Alberta, and I'm going to be talking in Celsius, but I will also reference Fahrenheit if Celsius Fahrenheit conversion scale. Let's do this because then I can make sure it's all accurate. The people that the thing that people don't realize in Alberta, we don't really have seasons. We have weeks.
Yep.
And sometimes we have hours. So what was it, a month and a half ago? Like, fucking, we're talking middle of
February.
February. Yeah, it was February.
Yeah, I know what day you're talking about.
We had, what was it, 16 above?
Yeah, 16, 17 Celsius, yeah.
So 16, 17 Celsius is about 61 Fahrenheit. In the middle of February, we went from, I think it was about minus 20, um, which would be about 12 Fahrenheit, I think. The conversion chart doesn't go that low, but it went from like 0 to
That's like
12
negative.
Fahrenheit.
That's -4. That's
Negative.
-4.
Oh, okay.
4
It went.
Fahrenheit.
It went from -4 Fahrenheit. Within 24 hours, it went from -4 to plus 61 Fahrenheit, and then back down to 32 Fahrenheit, where water freezes. So it went from what did we say? Our temperature, Celsius? Yeah.
We went from 17 to -20 Celsius.
Oh, yeah, it went from -20 to 17 to 0. And, like, I mean, it was 17 or 61 for a few days and then drop back in. Like, we get just spurts of summer.
Warm.
Yeah, it's weird. So that happened in February. Again, in March, I think we got a couple of nice days at like 10 Celsius or 50 Fahrenheit. Then we got back to cold. And when we say cold, we're talking about, again, like minus 20 Celsius, -4 Fahrenheit. That's like chilly for us. -40, -40, those two match up, Celsius and Fahrenheit. That's our normal in winter where we are.
Yep.
And like, that's not like, yeah, it's not like, oh, lock the doors. No, we still go out and do stuff. Like, Cuddles and I went skiing one day at, I think it was about minus 40 temperature, and then I think it was another 15 or 20 degree wind chill, and we went out to the hill there. It was good.
I don't know. I've been in shorts since the middle of February.
Yeah, actually, so is Schulte. Schulte doesn't wear pants unless it's like -50.
It has to be fucking cold, but it gets so cold here so rapidly. If you like wearing shorts, if you're waiting for it to be supposedly warm for shorts,
you take every fucking opportunity you get.
Yeah, pretty much. And you start to acclimatize to it too. Like when people are still wearing sweaters and like 0 Celsius, I'm like they're wearing sweaters and coats, and I'm sitting here going like t-shirt, shorts, and sandals.
Yeah, so like 0 Celsius, 0 Celsius, I'll usually have pair of shoes, socks, obviously boxers, shorts, and then t-shirt and a hoodie. As long as my hands are warm, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And I mean that's for up to like 5,
it,
10, 15 minutes at a time.
And if my wife doesn't let me do this anymore, but what I used to
Probably
do, even if it was like something like -20 out and I felt like wearing shorts, all I would do is just put on toques and a pair of winter gloves, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, the wife is probably the smarter of you two.
I produce a lot of body heat. She's just afraid one of these days I'm gonna get stuck out somewhere and then be out longer. In -20 or below, I can survive for a good hour in just t-shirts and shorts, no gloves, no toque, just that. I could go barefoot for an hour and be fine.
That's because you and I are well insulated.
So what she's worried about is that I would get stuck outside longer and then start getting frostbite.
Your problem is you would test the hour and then after the hour go to let yourself in and realize you locked yourself out.
The only time I've ever got frostbite, and it was very minor frostbite, I'll point out, like, just where it starts tingling,
Yeah.
It was on my legs once, and it wasn't even that. It was -40 something out that night, and my car broke down, and I had to walk like probably a good like 4 kilometers. I was on the white mud in Edmonton, and I had to walk like 4 kilometers down the way. I was in one of those long sections where there's no exits, to the exit, up, and then to the nearest gas station.
Yeah, so it's about 2.5 miles, and Kusai would do that with a smile.
Like,
He's
yeah,
not the
like
smartest.
I go walking. I go walking between towns. I've walked. I think the most I've ever walked is probably 30 kilometers one direction.
Yeah, I could see that. And then turn around and walk back.
Yeah, and you know
That's just
when you're doing that between towns, it's totally safe as long as you're like you know the people in the area and it's a decent day, and you're between towns and cities, like not mountain towns. We're talking like prairie.
oh
You don't
yeah,
do
so
yeah, you
yeah,
don't
we
do
live
that
in the
hiking.
prairies.
Yeah,
So our ground, I mean, we have
we have
bumps, but we
coyotes.
don't really have hills. Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
have coyotes.
they get
Uh,
annoying sometimes.
yeah, we get a lot of coyotes. But like our terrain locally here is fairly flat. If we were to go to
About an hour and a half, 2 hours west.
yeah, probably 2 hours west is when we start hitting mountains. We don't really have foothills up here though.
No, yeah, we like you don't really. I know people
It's
think that,
like
but you really don't
flat
start.
mountain.
Yeah, people think like okay, Alberta's claim to fame is like the 10% of mountains we have in our
Not
province. Like
really. I'd say the
that's
oil.
well the oil, but we're talking about for tourism. They're like, yay! In every postcard you see of Alberta, you see mountains.
That's true. Yeah.
We put it on our license plate at one point.
Mountains or West Ed.
Yeah, like I get West Ed, but like the mountains where like we have Banff, Jasper, done. We are more foothills than mountains, and we don't even have that much foothills.
Well, I think Calgary is foothills though.
No, Calgary's kind of at the end of the foothills.
Oh, so it's
They're-
west side of Calgary is the start of the hills.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've lived in those areas, and trust me, Calgary east is like flat as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. You know we make fun of Saskatchewan, but the moment you get off those foothills in the southern Alberta, it is flat. Like flat.
Nice. Actually, speaking of Calgary, are you going down to the expo this weekend?
Oh, I have a maybe no. I have an exam this week, but it's on the 27th. So.
Oh, that's not bad. You could go down for the other days. We have a hotel.
Yeah.
We're just gonna. I think we got 4 people crashing in there. If it's just you, I'm sure you and Cuddles could cuddle.
Yeah, we've cuddled before. That's the reason why we call them cuddles.
Well, we called him Cuddles before that, but yes. So Cuddles, Cuddles is not a small guy. I think he's at about 5'11", but he's built like a brick shithouse. He was actually MVP in the Alberta Winter Games for football one year.
Yeah.
This is for the like 16-ish age group. He is a big fucker. Like if he runs at you, you don't even run. You just kiss your ass goodbye.
He's got a little bit bigger because his mom still feeds him like a farm boy, but he's not as active as he was in high school.
So his muscles have turned into insulation.
He still has the muscles. He just also now has, just like the rest
hidden.
of us. Yes,
they're hidden. But no,
we can't talk.
Between you, myself, and Cuddles, we could probably lift up and carry a smart car a little ways.
And we could also drop the suspension.
Yeah, like none of us are small guys, but Cuddles is just thick. Like
he was a thick guy before the pudge started packing on.
Yeah. So
yeah, he's a pretty well broad-shouldered guy and big bone.
So with that in mind, this is the guy we call Cuddles. Because he was a football player quite like fairly young, and like he just fucks these guys up when he hits them. He's hit some kid so hard the kid just didn't get back up. So Cuddles turns around, walks back up to him, and is like, "You okay, buddy? You want, here, let me give you a hand." And like helps the guy back up and like walks him. Cuddles is the sweetest guy ever. Just don't get in his way. So that's kind of the reason he's Cuddles. Yeah. But
now,
anyways.
my father-in-law was actually, this is funny that we're mentioning him and cars. And I had to tell him about my father-in-law about me and you sitting in my wife's little green Fiesta.
Oh God.
Well,
You know the other thing.
Me and Scufflewick have sat on one side. Me driving, him in the driver's side back seat, and that thing is legitimately leaning.
Yeah, like there was a good lean to that. The other car that I found it entertaining is Major Rager. You know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay, so Major Rager has an Eclipse. I don't fit in an Eclipse. I don't. With the seat all the way back, the seat then leaned back. My head is still brushing the roof, and my knees are still brushing the dash in the passenger seat. And I'm pretty sure that car sunk about 3 inches when I got in. Like we're not tiny guys, but we're.
If we want to talk about physics and our weight, do you remember the one time we went to the Galaxyland and they have that new roller coaster that spins?
Oh, so each individual car has a rotational axis.
Yeah, 4 people sit on 2 on each side, and
it's not locked.
Yeah, it just spins to your weight.
Yeah, it free spins. And so Kusai and I
tried to sit on the same side. We tried sitting on the same side, and she gave us the ride attendant gave us a look like that is not happening.
Well,
that is not happening.
We did it anyways. So Kusai and I, because you were bigger at that time, so Kusai and I were probably 650, 675 pounds at the time, and then the missus, and then Merlin for me. We took the girlfriends at the time, and still current girlfriend and now wife for you. Those two sat on one side, and they're tiny, like they're not big at all.
No.
Like Merlin is normally referred to as shorty or woman, which she's apparently not a fan of the second one, but I mean, woman, make me a sandwich just sounds so much better. So we put those two on one side, and then Kusai and I are on the other. When we went around turns, and Kusai and I got that momentum and like the outer swing.
Oh, we made sure it swung. We even leant into it to get a little more spin to it.
When it went back to like straight track and we didn't need to be on one side or the other, it would just fucking spin. And then we would hit the other side and it would just fucking spin the other way. Like, yeah.
That was fun.
Kusai and I, we do dumb things.
I remember one time, you weren't there, but some of my other friends, similar size, we went to a local, not K-Days or whatever goes on in Calgary for the fair. One of those small community ones like Devon Days and Beaumont, whatever, and shit like that.
Oh,
we went to that, and they had one of those strawberry rides, that spin. Like they're like the teacups, but they're the giant strawberries.
I fucking hate those.
And the guy looked at all of us and he's like, "You guys spin that thing and I'm kicking you off and calling the police." And then we asked, like, whoa, like, why? He's like, because he knew us. We'd been there earlier that day and we had that thing fucking going, like full tilt. 6 of us in there. 6 big guys in there just giving it as hard as they could. Right?
Was I with you?
I can't remember if you were with. You might have been. But yeah, I think you might have actually been there with me that day. And what ended up happening was when we left, I guess another big group came in onto that same strawberry and spun it so fast it unbolted itself and slid off the ride.
Good old local fairs.
He did not look happy because I'm pretty sure he's like, he couldn't say it was whether it was us that loosened it off to begin with or it was the other group that completely loosened it off.
Yeah.
But he wasn't gonna let it happen again. I'm guessing they're not really easy to put back up onto the ride.
Well, I'm guessing they're not really supposed to come off.
Yeah, and as somebody who's worked as a carny,
Yeah.
Seeing shit like that happen gives you an adrenaline rush that you don't want to have.
Okay, but hang on, because you say you work as a carny. You worked at a well, I mean it's major city that we're not within, but you worked at Fort Edmonton Park.
Oh yeah,
which has
a number of years ago.
Which has a permanently situated
Yes,
amusement park. It's not like these things go up and come down in a day.
Yeah, but even still, they're built the same. Like the Ferris wheel at Fort Edmonton Park is a 1940s Ferris wheel, which is basically no different than the one that would be in the 1920s, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, except the only difference between some models in that time and the one we were using is some had 2 levers instead of 1. The lever on that one goes brake, neutral, in gear. Some of the older models had a separate one for the brake. So 2 levers to work.
Yeah.
And that thing slips. It's cable driven. If it gets wet, things slip. So shit goes wrong with that thing all the time. That thing breaks down a lot. Not enough to be dangerous for the customers, but just means that we have to do stuff like manual evacuations, or we have to unload people, or we have to be a lot more finicky with the balancing than you would with a modern Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
We had issues with that because we were working on either replicas of old rides or straight up restored old rides.
So by manual evacuations, what Kusai means is they have to physically grab and move the cars on the Ferris wheel.
Oh yeah, and we've been lucky enough that the cable's never broken, because I asked the guy who trained us what happens if the cable breaks in that case. A manual evacuation, when the cable breaks, which is also your brakes and your power, when the power goes out, then we become the power, but we still have brakes. If that cable breaks, then we actually have to wrap a rope around the Ferris wheel, and people have to actually then manually brake using a rope.
You know what, though? That's not that hard.
But I want you to
done rope rescue professionally, like it's the same theory, right?
Yeah.
If you get 2 or 3 people, it's real easy to stop the momentum on one of those things. But I mean, you need 2 or 3 big people like us.
Well, and you need 2 or 3 big people to push the Ferris wheel, right? Yeah. At minimum. You need like 3 guys my size to easily push that thing, and we don't have 3 guys my size there, so it takes like about 4 or 5 people to turn that thing.
Yeah.
And give you an example. When I worked there is like maybe 5 guys, and maybe 4 of them were of, probably above 150 pounds wet.
Yeah.
So. And then everybody else was not that the girls can't be strong, but I'm going to point out when guys above 200 pounds are having an issue, putting their weight into spinning something, having a girl who's 5'2", 120 pounds makes that near impossible. You know what I mean? And to give you an example, I heard about this. One of the managers didn't let go in time, and they kind of lifted off the ground, and she was a fairly small woman.
Nice. Let go, we'll catch you. Whee!
She just flew right up, I guess,
Nice.
And like it's fun, but like we don't deal with some of the stuff that what do you say, like, sorry, just in case I got a message. Anyways, we don't deal with some of the stuff that's like actual carnies run into everything, but we're not the only park that does this. There's a place in Calgary that does this as well, and there's places in the States that have these fake carnies things. We have to deal with other things. They deal with more people and drunks. We don't usually deal with drunks, though we have at Fort Edmonton Park dealt with drunks.
I'm sure you have,
because they have a bar in Fort Edmonton. We have dealt with drunks after hours. That being said, actual carnies don't have to dress up in wool suits in plus 30 weather.
Yeah,
and are not forced to
timeline accurate.
Oh, and okay, I'm going to point out, I love Fort Edmonton Park, but the management makes sense. If you ever go to Fort Edmonton Park or the one in Calgary, you will notice nobody dresses like they're middle class. I'm a carny. Carnies in the 20s were fucking poor as shit, and here I am wearing what would have probably been an equivalent to like $100 suit then.
Yeah.
And I'm being forced to wear a wool cap. You have to wear hats at all times. Like, well, safety. I'm like, when I'm wearing a hat that insulates my head, this does not keep me cool.
Wait, how did they justify its safety?
because they're like hats in thing from sunburns and protecting your head. Yeah, it's a wool hat. It's also heating my head.
Awesome.
And
you know, wool wicks away moisture.
I'm fine in that. I temperature regulate fairly well, so I was fine. I was wearing my regular clothes underneath my suit, right? So my coworkers asked, like, how the hell do you do that? I just temperature regulate well. I can go out in cold weather, warm weather. I don't sweat. I don't get cold. I'm fine. But my coworkers, I felt sorry for them. They ended up having to put like tubs outside and bring squirt guns, like time period squirt, like things to spray themselves with in the summer because they were sweating their butts off. And because we're a park, we deal with strange people, like at times, like regulars. So people start coming in regular, and I like the regulars, but we had some guy. There's a guy that's been coming there for years. Because
you would usually be considered one of the weirdos.
Well, no, but like we get nice ones, and I like the people, and most of the customers are like families that come by. But then we also get regulars, like this guy that comes to the park. His name is Mr. Sunday, is what we call him. There, that's his nickname at the park, Mr. Sunday. Because that's usually when he comes. He's a red fanny pack, and he is not sexually assaulted any of the female staff, but what his current actions are doing is it might be building up to something like that. And city policy in Edmonton with their attractions, including Fort Edmonton Park, is they can't ban them for more than just one season. So he comes back until he does something to get himself banned again every year. Give you an example of what he did, and he got kicked out, and this is one of the reasons why he gets banned, is they had an incident where a female staff member was trapped inside one of the historical houses with him for 40 minutes. He's the reason why they have a policy with that there is always to be 2 people inside each house, staff members. So a male staff member came in after 40 minutes, and all he did, I guess, that whole 40 minutes was trap her in the corner, didn't touch her, but just breathed heavily the whole time.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and this past summer, I know for a fact he stalked a 14-year-old staff member. And we had to follow. Their thing when he walks in through the front doors, they put out he has his own code when he comes into the store into the Fort Edmonton Park on the radios, and staff members will follow him. They will actually start putting in each area. They'll have one staff member keep an eye on him.
Although that being said, when I go to the expo, not for the same reasons, but when I go to the expos, I have staff assigned to me as well.
Yeah, not for the fact that they're worried that you're going to sexually assault one of the staff members.
No, certainly not. Their biggest concern with me is he going to climb a tree, or is he going to...
Yeah.
Like,
want to hear something?
I still want to rappel off that wall.
I know you do. But here's something. We've always wondered what's in his fanny pack. We've never known. He always brings this red fanny pack with him. It's a very large one. It's not your regular size fanny pack. It's like an extra large one. Like if he wasn't wearing it, it would look like a small duffel bag.
Or like a little purse type thing.
Yeah, and we've never seen what he has in it, but he wears it every single time. That's how he doesn't matter what he wears. We always know him because he has that red fanny pack with him.
All right, so Mr. Sunday, next time you go, don't wear the fanny pack and your chances are better.
Well, at this point, recently they actually found out where he works.
Oh, yeah.
So they recognize him now. They know his name now. And I won't put it out because I don't want to bring out this is all like allegations. I wasn't personally there. Right?
Yeah, this is all allegations.
Well,
yeah, you've already pretty much like identified.
Well, the point is, I've witnessed him do some of the stuff, but not the most extreme. I've witnessed him follow 14, and like it's obvious he's like staring at their ass and he's following them.
That being said, with some young people, it's hard to tell.
Oh no, this one was really obvious. She's like maybe like 4'10" and has no figure whatsoever, and she's wearing like a period appropriate dress for a small girl.
Oh, okay.
You can age somebody quite well in the 1920s, 1910s based off what they're wearing.
See, working there maybe, but like I would have no idea.
You would. You look at it'd be like seeing a little schoolgirl dress. You know, like you know what I mean, like what you see in movies.
Yeah.
Like it'd be like seeing that school uniform kind of stuff. You know the fact that person's in.
Oh fuck. Good times.
But yeah, and it's obvious, and the fact of considering I won't say who he is or what he does, but considering his profession, this guy knows. So.
Yeah. Whatever. Maybe he likes.
It's creepy. It's creepy, and
creepy,
that's why I want to say it's allegations. The other things he's been accused of, and he, from what I've been told by management, kicked out for. If those are true, then it takes it to a whole new level, right? It's fairly creepy what I've seen him do, but like I can't be like you're a pedophile or somebody about to sexually assault something. But if what other people have said,
be very careful between assault and harassment.
Yeah, and what he's doing is what I would say is harassment because people have told him to stop, and he's continued doing it.
Okay, you have to be so very careful between assault and harassment.
Well, considering that's why he hasn't been permanently banned, is because he has not actually sexually assaulted, but they are worried that it's gonna escalate one day, because they're worried what would happen if that male staff member in that allegation had not come in at the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, so we get other creepos at for him, but we also get weird people. Like we had a lady once. People get really like they're like, oh, it's a Florida, it's an attraction, it's a park. Nobody would do this with a real carny, like a non-Fort Edmonton, non-traction park, carny. Is we've had parents just leave their children, including one time we had a big panic. Is somebody left a 3-month-old baby on the grass. In the grass section of the Midway, and left. We found them on a ride half an hour later, but we were all sitting there going, what's this? There's a 3-month-old just laying here, no parents. And it was like half an hour before we found the parents.
I would honestly, after 5 minutes, just pick the kid up and take them to security. Let the parents freak out.
No, we told my boss to do that. I told her she picked the kid up because she's not going to leave this kid on the grass. After 10 minutes, she was like, "Yeah, this kid's not just going to be left on the grass."
Right.
But we all told her you should be going down to head to the main office, and you should be calling Child Protective Services. That they literally tell you to do that in this instance. That this is considered child abandonment after 10 minutes, like this. This isn't you've left them in a car with the windows. Even that's considered pretty bad. This is you've left your kid in a grassed area with a lot of people where you're nowhere in sight.
Yeah.
That's child abandonment.
Oh, it's okay. We're in a park. Yeah, no.
And they're like, well, you were looking. We figured the staff she asked our boss was pissed.
Oh yeah.
You guys were looking after them. Like, we are not a babysitting service. How do you know that? Just because we are fake, we're actors here, doesn't mean there's nobody else in this park that would just pick up your kid and walk off with them.
I see. That's one of those cases where I would actually just rip into someone.
We all want to. It was like a noticeable. And thing is, we do have a policy of taking care of kids. Like if a kid a parent wanted to go on the Ferris wheel, but they had an infant, and that means they're too short to go on their ride. They can't. The baby can't come on. We've said like, hey, and we're allowed to. We've said like, hey, we'll hold your baby for you. You can go up. We'll have a staff member hold, and you can see the baby here. We'll look after him.
You have to talk to the staff.
Yeah, you can't just leave your kid. And I've taken care of kids. They're usually the parents are quite fine. They're actually surprised thing. You can't just say anybody. They get mad when a staff member does refuse. Like the ones that aren't comfortable holding a kid. But then they'll if you wait half a second before you get mad, they'll usually I'll go find somebody that is comfortable taking care of your kid while you go on the ride.
Yeah.
And we take care of them. We when parents don't want to go on a ride, but the kid does and they're big enough to go on, staff member go on the rides with them. So we do have different responsibilities than an actual carny, but it brings just as much problems and other issues that the real carny has too. Yeah, so I say we're about the same difficulty level. And I find when I go to fairs now, I feel sorry for the actual carnies. I actually almost yelled at a parent and kids for the carny before he had a chance to give them shit.
Because they can't yell. Well, I mean, I guess they could. They're probably a little less restriction than.
Oh, he did. I was just about to, and he did it himself. I'm like, thank God, because he wasn't seeing it, and I was, and just as I was about to, he saw it and gave them shit. We were on a gravitron, and if you guys ever seen this ride, it spins really fast until the centrifugal force causes the bed. You're almost sitting on these beds on the wall. They slide up rails as the centrifugal force goes up, and you go to the top. This mom was telling their kids to hold on to the top when it slowed down, so it wouldn't let the beds drop.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're telling them to go upside down Well, okay, so now you have a kid that's gonna fall and hit their head on the ground when it goes down
And then
instead of
have
just
a
sliding down.
rail carry on, like roll over them.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's safe as long as you're not doing shit like that.
Yeah.
And given how dumb
Well,
people are with
anything
rules,
is safe as long as you follow the rules.
well, yeah.
that's
Give you an
not
example.
true.
Oh, even then, like giving an example, I've learned a bit of Ferris wheel history. Did you know Ferris wheels until like the 1960s and 1970s didn't have handrails in front of them, like the rail that block you from falling off, and they didn't have hair guards until the 70s. There was no deaths really on Ferris wheels or any hair getting caught in anything until the 1970s.
At least.
Well, no, in historical the thing, but there's a reason for it as well. Before the 1970s, it was common for men to have short hair and women to have their hair up. So you never had instances where their hair hung off the edge of the cart and then got caught in the thing. 1970s, they did. The one we can explain, and they did keep track of, and I think it's because it was a thrill ride and people sat still, but nobody was fucking with the ride and rocking it back and forth.
Yeah.
And in the 1970s, everybody, I guess, decided that it was a fun idea to swing the chairs around in the 70s, and they were falling out.
Yeah.
You can sit in a Ferris wheel and with no bar. And people, when you tell them, really, there wouldn't have been a bar in the 1920s? I'm like, yeah, there wouldn't have been hair guard either. And they're like, oh dear God, this is dangerous. I'm like, no, as long as you sit your ass still, I can have this thing going 50 kilometers an hour and you will be fine. The thing goes about 30 kilometers an hour. But the thing already goes 30 kilometers an hour, and it's considered a slow Ferris wheel.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah, because you measure on the outside, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's not bad then.
Yeah, and you know, it's fine, but it does scare people because the thing's like 44 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of stuff I like during the spring and summer, though. You know, going to the place. The reason why I even started working there is because I used to go there. I've been going to Fort Edmonton Park even when I didn't live in the province.
Yeah.
I always made sure to come and have a trip. That place is awesome to go to, and I recommend it actually. And they're upgrading it.
Oh.
Yeah, they're adding on to the Midway again.
Oh, nice. That'll be good.
Oh yeah, they're adding a whole bunch of rides and stuff. This also reminds me of a funny incident that happened there. There's a shooting range in one of the streets that they're moving, I think, if I remember right, where they had I think it was a staff member or a customer try to use the pellet guns and shoot somebody.
Man, I hope that wasn't a staff. Actually, I kind of hope it was a staff member. That would just be like, how do you write that on an incident report? Like, yeah, fucking people.
And I'll tell you, working in the Midway versus anywhere else in the park, the park's awesome to work in, but I can tell you from having to go work in some of the other areas other than the Midway, the Midway is constant busy. There's always people there. Rarely there's not. So I like it because you're always doing something throughout the day. The other areas are kind of like there's sometimes no customers. You're still expected to do stuff like practice your acts and stuff like that, but there isn't like actual stuff to do, like no customers. So it gets boring.
When we went for the wedding, there was, I think, 2 ladies, and one of them was playing guitar while the other was twirling an umbrella for like 45 minutes. They were just
because they have nothing else to do.
Yeah. And I was like,
people learn to
that's a
knit.
cool job.
People learn to knit out there because they have nothing better to do. I had coworkers that had learned how to like fully knit from the beginning of the season, and by the end of the season, they could knit you socks in like half an hour.
Yeah. No, that's good times.
So, whereas in the Midway, we don't have time to learn skills like that because there are always customers there.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
You do learn to juggle. You learn to juggle. Or do something else similar to that. Though they asked if we had any skills that could be considered carny skills or fun, like the freak show acts and stuff like that during the year. And they asked each one of the staff members, like, can you do anything that's like neat? And like people were like, oh, I can juggle, I can do sing, and I can trapeze and stuff. And I'm sitting here like
I can eat.
No. They ended up getting me to do that. I was the man eating chicken one year, but my one skill that I can't, my one skill that I do have that can be considered a carny is too dangerous to do. there with their insurance. I can
Knives.
throw in knives and juggle knives. And they're like, and I honestly, I wouldn't feel comfortable. There's too many people, and I would have to set it up, and there would have to be like a safety line, and
Yeah.
and with the park already has issues with keeping people off the fucking train tracks. So I don't want to have somebody not realize that they shouldn't be in front of my target, and then run in front of my target as I'm throwing a knife.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and when Kusai says he can like juggle and throw knives, and he's not kidding. He does a lot of dumb things just for giggles.
In my defense, I wear steel toes when I juggle and throw knives. That's your main thing, is dropping those knives on your feet.
You don't have any metatarsal protection. So metatarsal protection is the top of the foot. You don't have any metatarsal protection in most boots.
Yeah. But it does a pretty good job, and most of the times what you're ending up hitting is the front of your toe, and it bounces back and comes to the ground.
Mm.
So when you don't throw a knife right, sometimes it'll bounce back, and usually at a downward angle, and it aims towards your feet usually.
Yeah, that's probably bad. Lose a toe.
Yeah. So you wear the proper foot gear. Throwing knives is fun though. I'm out of practice because you don't have time to practice like I used to, but I can hit with a regular pocket knife from the waist. I can hit a 4-inch target from 10-15 feet away.
Yeah, I remember you used to have decent groupings. So actually, we should go to the rec room. They have axe throwing in there.
Oh, or we should go to. There's a place in Edmonton called the Axe Hole. You can throw axes.
Same thing.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's? I'll point out as danger. I used to use a door as a target, like an old bathroom door that we got from a renovation as a target. It only lasted maybe a week. But giving you how dangerous an 8-inch leaf blade is, if it arced, it didn't even go straight through. A throwing knife can actually arc up and down and still go into a target quite easily. If it goes off, it put a 10-inch slit through the whole door before it went into the door.
Nice.
It went up, hit the top of the door, slid down, and then went through the door.
Yeah, it's a little sharp.
And even if somebody ever tries throwing one of these and realize they don't have to be good at throwing it, if the handle hits you, I once missed through my blade, and the handle went into a 4x4. And that's what I was using as a target, was a 4x4. And it went in, the handle went half into the 4x4. It was a brand new 4x4, and the handle went halfway through into it. That's an 8-inch blade, so the handle is 4 inches long. That means it went 2 inches, blunt end went 2 inches into the solid wood.
Yeah.
These are all recreational.
That's a little.
And I always, as an
heavy.
adult, I realized I used to do something kind of stupid. I used to carry them in my car because I used to go out and I'll put up a target on a tree out in the middle of nowhere in the field. That way, I could do it. There wouldn't be anybody there. I wouldn't have to worry about flying over my neighbor's fence.
But hang on, because you say it's stupid to do that with knives, but don't forget we're in Alberta where it's normal for someone to have a rifle in the back of their car.
Well, and I find it stupid because then they would question and they'd want to question me. But technically, it's not illegal. You can carry any blade of any size in Alberta, and you will not get in shit. You could walk down the street with a 2-foot machete, and you could not be pulled over and accused of get arrested for it.
I keep just because again, this is a lot of farm country and it's considered a tool, not a weapon. But in my car, I actually keep a. How big is that machete we had camping? 1.5 2 foot.
Yeah, about 1.5 2 foot.
1.5 2 foot. So I carry a machete, and a wood chopping axe in the back of my car. Again, because
just in case
firefighting. So firefighting medic. I like to be prepared for whatever might come up. So I do carry those, and I've actually had a cop stop me and ask, and he's like, "Why do you have an axe?" I'm like, "Well, sir, we just came back from camping, and I like to keep one in here just to make sure if anything ever comes up, like a tree on the road or anything, I can make sure it's safe." He's like, all right, that's fine. Like, cop didn't care. He just needed to know why. Mostly to know what kind of person he's dealing with.
Well, and that's the thing is, if you deal with a nice cop, that's usually what happens. But there's always the one asshole in any profession.
Well, and the other thing is, like, normally, the clothing that I wear is specifically picked so that I have certain storage options. On my right leg, mid thigh, is outer thigh, I should say. They're construction jeans, and so I've got pockets where you would normally put like a pencil or a level or an X-Acto knife or whatever. I regularly carry a tactical flashlight. The reason behind that flashlight, again, is as a medic. If I ever come up on somebody with suspected concussion, the flashlight has 3 regular brightness settings and then one where it's able to point into someone's eye, like it's a medic's flashlight.
Yeah.
Along with that flashlight, I carry flip knives, along with like knives and flashlight and all of this. Like, I carry a lot of stuff that would concern a lot of people.
Well,
And
yeah, I have a story about you and that.
oh yeah,
Once you're done.
but yeah, like in Alberta, it's kind of normal. Like when I was in Ontario, I got my gun license. People are like, "Oh, why would you need that?" I'm like, well, I'm an enthusiast. I like firearms, and they're like, "Oh, you're not gonna shoot anyone, are you?" And then in Alberta, it's like, "Oh yeah, you got your license. Cool, let's go shoot."
Yeah, everybody, like, people find it weird that I have my license, but I haven't got it renewed in forever.
Oh, I'm the same way.
And it's like I'm in school. If you, I hunt. That's what I use my gun license for. So
yeah,
if I'm in school, My exam times are around hunting season.
yeah.
I don't have time currently. So what's the point of renewing it?
And see, for me, if I were to have firearms currently, I would be in possession of firearms illegally without a license. In your case, your dad has all your guns. He's just got them in a safe, I think.
Well, and he doesn't have to renew his. We have weird gun laws here. So because they changed the he's grandfather. So because we've had our policies changed so many times here in Alberta, some people are considered grandfathered into the old policy, and he has a permanent license for his.
Nice.
He can't buy ammunition. He would have to get a separate license to buy ammunition still. But so that's what he usually uses me for. If what he would use me for is to go get his ammunition.
And I mean,
but he has so much he doesn't
in
need
Alberta,
it right now.
we can go to Walmart and get ammunition. We
can go to Walmart. We can go to Walmart and get guns.
Well, they don't really sell the guns at Walmart here.
Well,
we can
Canadian
do that at
Tire does. Tire, yeah. Go buy a 50 cal sniper rifle.
Yeah, it's not as redneck as the States where you can buy in and buy a 2-4 of vodka and a rifle together. Like
and do your banking.
Yeah. Well, no, we can bank in Walmart. There's money transfers in there.
Well, I'll point out there was a store in, like, I think the late 80s down in the States that was a bank, a gun store, and a liquor store.
That is fantastic. 3 bad decisions at once.
I don't know how long that business lasted, but it was there.
All right. I mean, that's fair.
Just go buy your guns from there, grab a little bit of liquor, and then go rob the bank. All in the same building.
Great. Anyways, yeah, no, actually, I was looking at my rifle at Canadian Tire there the other day. I kind of want to put another stock on it so that I can use the other stock permanently for expos.
Yeah. And, I like how we haven't mentioned, but this is basically what our topic was talking about what we do in spring and summer, considering spring is here and summer's coming. And this is basically what happens in spring and summer for us.
Technically, it's not spring. Technically, it's third spring. See, there's first spring and then second spring and then 11sies.
Yeah, we're like the hobbits of spring.
Yeah.
It's currently snowing outside. It's currently snowing outside.
Oh yeah, what
right now?
3 days ago. Okay, so 4 days ago was 0 or 32.
Well, we've already done the back. They understand that.
Oh no, but just like this is how normal this is. Like in February, it happened. In March, I think it happened. We're in April now, and 3 days ago was 0 or 32. 2 days ago was 15 or 60. The next day was 15 or 60, and then yesterday was 0 or 32. And like we got 4 inches of snow last night,
and then it melted.
Yeah, and it'll be get back tonight, and then it'll be melted tomorrow, and then it'll be back next week. Like, we've had blizzards in July.
Yeah.
That was the year
Or
I went
or
out
snow
east.
snow piles so big, like when they push the snow piles in the parking lots,
Oh yeah,
so
they
big
don't
that
melt until like August.
yeah, there was one beside where I used to work. I used to work by a VHQ, and there was a huge snow pile taller than the building.
Oh yeah,
that's how big it was. And it was a warm year that year, so it actually was like plus 20 in April,
but
and this
to
thing
be
didn't
fair,
finish melting until September.
To be fair though, on the because the sun's the north of us in the summer.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, to be fair, there are trees that block it on the one side, but that's on the south side.
Yeah.
Although again, no, to the west of it is.
But still, you think the ambient temperature alone?
Ambient temperature would be the only effector, but I think what melts most snow is actually direct sunlight.
Yeah. And
so.
it's just like, and you're sitting there going like, there's
crazy.
still snow, and it's July. I get that it's piled up, but
yeah,
it's plus 20 something out. And that's Celsius. That's still really effing warm in Fahrenheit. I guess it's not as warm as some places in the States, but
23 Celsius is 73 Fahrenheit.
So it's a decent bit of temperature. That's pretty good. I guess it's not like, your plus 40 and 50 that you get in some of the southern states, but
oh, my dad's in Texas. Yesterday was 30 with a sunburn. He makes sure to let us know. What a dick.
Yeah. So. Tell him you'll switch places. You'll take the sunburn over the snow.
You know what's funny though is he's actually mentioned, because I'm like, well, how do you like just warm? And he actually said it gets boring not having seasons. It's just always warm all the time. He misses having seasons.
People in the States, though, are also little babies when it comes about weather.
Oh, he is. So. And Daddy, if you ever listen, love you. But he's a bit of a baby back bitch when it comes to the cold. And I say that in the most loving way.
Yeah, and, there's stuff to do here in Canada. Once summer hits, there's a lot to do here in Canada. Once it's consistently warm.
Well, I know you and I are going camping. With 15 of us. Yeah, we're going camping up in the mountains. Are we doing Pocahontas this year?
Yes, we're doing Pocahontas this year. That's because we'll be like, if you guys ever go to Jasper, by the Miette Hot Springs, there's a campground called Pocahontas. It is actually a really nice one, and it has some really beginner level trails. I mean, it's flat.
I've been camping there since I was about 6. Like, we would go once or twice a year. I love that campground.
Yeah, and it's good. And if you're a bit more of an advanced hiker, there are some advanced hikes further into by the Miette Hot Spring.
Like across the way?
Yeah.
Johnson Canyon. Was that Jasper or Banff? No, that was Banff.
That was Banff. Oh yeah, if you guys ever go to Banff, Johnston Canyon and Castle Mountain campgrounds are actually really good to go to. For the mainstream, if you're a front country camper.
Oh,
I should
keep in mind. We are not RVers. We are campers. We
tents on.
There's 15 of us. We usually have about 8 tents, 5 cars. Usually 5 cars. So 5 cars, 15 people, tents, I
will say,
although I was actually talking with one of the bosses, the only thing, because you and we both build nice fires. I will say you build fucking nice coals, and I build nice fires. We both had a
little bit of training on that though, so it's not like I learned how to do that on my own. I took courses to learn how to do some of this shit.
I learned that stuff as a kid, just camping every year, and then firefighting. So we got to know how to start the fires to put them out, right? That's job stability.
Yeah, we used to have that joke that I would start the fires for you and you'd put them out.
As long as I didn't rat you out, yeah. Was it a joke? Anyways, was it
a joke that I wouldn't do it to you too?
Yeah, the one dumb thing that Kusai does, when it comes, he does lots of dumb things when it comes to the fire, but when it comes to the camping, is first thing in the morning, Kusai wants to build coals. Everybody else wants heat, and I can build the fires. I had one of the, a 2-foot diameter, 8mm or 1/2 inch thick steel
point out
ring.
the last time you guys that happened, the only time that ever happened where you guys complained about the coals, if you guys had stayed asleep for another half an hour, I would have had the coals ready, and all I was doing the coals for was I was going to cook you guys breakfast. I was going to, if you've ever had fire-made
I get that,
pancakes
and I appreciate
eggs.
it. I get that and I appreciate it, but the girls are cold. Build a fucking fire.
Yeah, point out the girls aren't campers in our group. Well, majority of them aren't. They tent, but they're very strong
along and drink.
Yeah, and they're definitely very front country campers.
Yeah.
So are you. You are by the fire camper.
Yeah,
I'm a hiker.
You guys all go on your little hikes, and I volunteer to stay by the fire so we don't have to put the food away. Because that's why I go camping. I just want to sit, and I don't even drink. Although when we do go camping, I do take one night and just get schmammered. That's my.
You did this last year, and I got a picture of it too.
I do every year because I'm always taking care of your drunk asses. It's my fucking turn.
In your self defense, I don't get too smoshed at camping.
Oh, some of our friends though, it's party time.
We had to pull one of our friends out of the river because they wanted to go on a river hike. And by river hike, I mean they wanted to hike in the river.
Yeah, our friends aren't the smartest. Kusai might be the ringleader most of the times. I like to stand back and instigate and You can
camping's where I don't fuck around too much because shit can go south really quick.
We're still throwing knives and axes at stuff.
And we're doing it in a safe. Well, some of us know how to do that, so it's not like it's extremely dangerous.
That's true. And the fire, when I do time bombs on the fire. So if you obviously don't seal it. Because if you seal the top, you then create a pressure
and
situation
then it sprays,
which could create a levee. But
and it's fun in a controlled situation.
Yeah, you can take a plastic bottle and fill it with gasoline, and I am talking so fucking carefully.
Very little gasoline too.
I am a professional when it comes to fire. Period. Do not do what I'm saying unless you are trained and taking necessary precautions. Period. So I take gasoline and fill it into an empty water bottle to a certain point. And keep in mind, I'm wearing fire protective gear at this point.
And he has everybody standing way back.
Oh yeah.
He has the area cleared of all flammables, including natural flammables.
Well, I mean that's gotten close a few times. We've singed some trees, but I mean I knew we were doing that, so that's okay. But
that was not at the camping though. I think that was in one of our backyards.
Yeah, no, a couple times was camping. Although keep in mind when we were doing that, on all sides of the fire pit was 10 to 15 feet clear, and then about 20 feet up, and I wanted to singe some trees, so I did. But it wasn't direct fire contact; it was just heat, so it was radiation. And it was very, very moist that year. That was the only reason I actually did it. But
it had been raining constantly that year.
Yeah, but back to time bombs is you can put 5 or 6 of these in if you're very careful in your positioning and very quick. And then as the heat melts the gasoline near the top of the bottle, it'll create a bit of an opening. And as soon as the fire hits the gasoline, obviously the gas is going to ignite in certain positions and certain ways. Where it can actually create pressure enough to shoot up and out the top of the bottle, assuming the top hasn't melted off. Again, very careful positioning. And it can actually create about a 6-foot flame jet, just straight up So it's fun. Or the really fun ones, when we start a fire, and even at this point, I will create a trail so that I can be about 6 feet away. There have been a few times where I put a gallon of gasoline in the bottom of a fire pit. And
you're not always the smartest. We're always he's gonna mess
hang
up
on, because one day I'm sure I will. But that one, you guys are all like, it's a bad idea, it's a bad idea, it's a bad idea. I just fucking soaked that ground in gas. And again, I did it professionally and calculated. I'm not saying I just do it. So it is calculated, but I put enough gasoline that it would soak into all of the wood and then a little bit of the surrounding area. And I had it so that it would soak about 3 inches on each side of the steel. And then I created about, I think it was about an 8-foot trail that time. Then you dip a stick in gasoline, light the end of the stick on fire, and then toss it onto the trail. So I am at about 10 to 8 feet away. Everybody else is about 15 to 20 feet away.
Yeah.
You guys felt that heat, like poof.
Oh, okay. I got 2 fire experiences for you that would actually would make you proud. I used to do incinerate paper, right?
Okay.
And for legal documents, and it's nice. But what I did this year, I was getting lazy. Usually, you shred them and then you burn them. It's easy that way, right? But I blocked it that year. I blocked it. I said, I'm gonna need some heat for this. So what I did is I took about a liter of purifane, took a steel bowl, and suspended the paper over with steel rods, and then I put it in our fire pit. There's nothing around it. But what I made a mistake it was too windy. It was windy that day, like almost funneling. Nice. And I actually created a fire funnel about 10 feet high.
Yeah. So we actually have a bylaw where all our fire pits have to be graded on top to prevent this shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, point out, I did. It was a fully enclosed fire pit. You know those ones with the hood and everything over it?
Yeah.
But the way the wind go, it actually went out the sides and funneled up around it.
Oh, fuck.
And I'm sitting here going like, fuck. This usually doesn't happen, but the wind's gusting it out and then spiraling it up. Now, if you want to talk about me building a proper fire, is I have 2 cousins that camp, and I'm going to put that in quotation marks, is that they think RVing and starting all their fires with gasoline every single time is camping.
They camp like my dad.
Yeah, and so we went on had a big reunion. And they're all like, "Oh, you can't start a fire. You're probably," because they think I don't camp. I'm like, guys, I camp and I've taken all hunter safety camping.
I've never taken the hunter safety stuff, but Kusai and I can use the coals from a night or 2 previous to start
and get it going.
A new fire. Like
so they challenged me. I'm like, fuck it. You know what? I'm not only gonna build a big fire. We had a big fire pit. This fire pit was about 5 feet wide and about 2 feet deep.
That's nice.
Big one. It's for big camping.
Yeah, it's a good size.
But so I'm like, fuck you guys. I'm doing this. You are not touching it. So I started in the morning. I built this fire. Oh, it's a foot thing. So I put about a foot of rock in the bottom of this thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, half a foot.
So the rock not only insulates the ground, but the rocks will hold the heat so that if you want to cook over it, it'll more evenly distribute the heat.
Yep. So then I wanted to build for heat after that. So I not only chopped the wood into about I think 3-inch by 3-inch sections, but about foot long, and then I stacked them and cross sectioned them.
Mm-hmm.
Right, cross section for about a foot and a half deep.
Oh yeah, TP style is the way to go.
But this was not TP. This was like the way they used.
Sorry, not TP. Chinese temple.
Yeah, and it was awesome, and I had a lot of wood. I filled that whole 5-foot diameter pit like that.
Nice.
And then I started putting I filled it full of kindling. And then all I had to use to start, because I wanted to start quick, is I used a 1 fire starter cube in one corner and lit it. And then I had probably about 200 pounds of wood to keep it going for the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
I collected all of that myself from the thing, brought it with the truck and everything, right?
Yeah.
And then chopped it. Now, I'm going to point out, when I got that fire going, after about half an hour of it running and me restacking the wood as it went along, because you do that, it keeps the airflow and going, right?
Mm-hmm.
People couldn't get within 6 feet of it. That's how hot it was.
Well,
my cousin, a couple of my friends cousins and family members were using their coats, because they had coats just in case it got cold at night.
Shield.
As shields, and they were leaning back on the ground. They were scooting forward to try to do the marshmallows. Let me put it this way: you could do marshmallows from 5 feet back, and they would turn golden brown from 5 feet back.
Kusai and I make nice fires. Needless to say,
and I'm like, I have not heard a single thing from any of my cousins about building fires ever again.
That's not even the hottest fire that we've had, because we had was it in Banff or Jasper? No, I think it was the last time we were in Jasper. They have, the fire pits are about 2 foot round. And so like we'll take those, but we'll dig deeper so that we can get more vertical stack. So we usually have about 2 foot round by 2 foot deep. And then each couple nights we'll dig out our ashes and all that. But I was building the fire this night, and we built it nice, like Chinese temple style. What I say is when you lay 2 or 3 blocks of wood, if you have enough airflow, you can do 3, but generally 2 is easier to start and easier to maintain. I actually got it to the point where we could do 4 and 4, but you basically lay 2 pieces of wood, like forward, backward, and then you lay 2 sideways, and then you lay 2 forward, backward, 2 sideways on top of each other, and it stacks like a Chinese temple. What I did was I got the fire to the point where I could do 4 and 4, and it would actually like suck oxygen in enough to feed that, because that's the biggest concern, is if you don't have enough oxygen, you can't build a fire. But this thing was so hot, it was sucking the oxygen in. And we got it to the point where one of the girls looked down and she was like, holy shit, the metal ring, like the actual fire pit, was glowing red.
Turning red. The hottest fire I've ever had, we had a rock in there, and the rock was probably about 1.5 feet long, by a foot wide, by probably 2 feet high, and I had turned that thing completely red. I kept the fire going for 6 hours until it turned that thing red.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
times.
we camp, and
like that's not even the hottest temperatures we've seen.
No, I've got a lot higher. I've messed around with doing foraging with just straight with fire charcoal, like firewood charcoal.
Yeah.
And doing that and turning it into coke. It's fun, but it's hard to do. I like doing new techniques. I like trying to do the actual camping stuff where you collect mosses and stuff and feathering your wood and shit like that.
Yeah,
it's fun, and that's the difference between us in a little bit. Is I'm wanting to do backcountry camping, and most of our friends are front country campers. This year we actually are doing a separate trip. A couple of us that are backcountry. Yeah, well, I have a few friends that don't mind hiking. You, Scufflewick, are the ones that do. We had last year I took you guys on the Johnston Canyon hike in Banff.
And you know,
and I swear,
I told Merlin, I am not doing it. I am not doing it. I'm not doing. She got all bitchy, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Fine. We're gonna do this.
You'll do it,
and you're gonna learn. No. Hang on.
You know what?
I said you're gonna learn because it is a 5-kilometer mountain hike. And
it was me and you that actually read the map properly. I'm going to point out. You knew what the hike was.
I
swear
our
group of friends
and that's why I said, I've done it. I'm not doing it.
They thought it was 5 kilometers there and back.
Yeah. So it's 5 kilometers one way. And we get to I think about the 2-kilometer in hike, and that's before it goes vertical. Like, that's still fairly flat. There's stairs. So we get to the 2-kilometer point, and then Merlin's like, okay, I'm done. We can go back. And I'm like, fuck you, you're done. Let's go.
You drug my ass out here when I told you I didn't want to go. We're doing this whole thing.
Out of spite, I hiked the rest of the 8 kilometers. We get back to the campground. And I'm like, so? And she's like, we're never doing that again. I'm like, fucking told you. So I was not happy.
You're cutting in and out a little bit, sorry.
My recording is good. You've cut out too, but
I know. I'm just pointing out. But yeah, and I get that. And like some of my friends like hiking. Now, I'll give you the kind of I love our friends, but sometimes they're not smart when it comes to hiking, and I think that's because of inexperience.
Says the guy who went and hiked on his own for 4 fucking hours.
Well, it wasn't 4 hours. You guys over exaggerate every time on that one. But let me get on to this topic. So a year later, we went again, right? And this time there was more people, and we were like, well, let's go do the easy one. It's the mine hiking trail. It's pretty much flat ground as long as you stay on the trail, right? Unless you go down to the punch bowl, that's a whole different trail. That's a split off. So we go to the mine trail. We get to the mine cart. There's a mine cart at the end of this trail, and they're like, we still want to hike. Now our campsite is up the mountain. They decide to go down the mountain from this flat area that was an easy hike, right?
And I'm like, it's easy to go down.
And they did when I'm like, guys, I just want to go back and take a picture of something. It was like maybe 100 meters away, right around a corner. So I was just taking a picture of something, and I'd come back. By the time I came back, so literally gone 2 minutes, my wife is sitting there saying they went down. I'm like, they went down where? And she points down the mountain on an off trail not allowed to be there technically trail.
Well, I
And I'm
mean,
like,
you're allowed to be
they
there.
all
It's just-
complain
it's
about hiking,
backcountry
yet they
camping.
decide to do this.
So they didn't realize
That they were going to have to
if
come
they
back
go
up.
down, they have to, yeah. And like they
your
were probably scooting
brother
on
Cuddles,
their asses going down. I thought Cuddles was gonna die. I'm like,
Cuddles almost had a
Cuddles,
heat
you
stroke.
are not allowed to do these hikes anymore because you legitimately might have a heart attack.
Now he wants to come on the backcountry hike we're doing this year, but we've given him restrictions. He improved a little. So the first year he did this, with this mistake, and the reason why he had an issue on this
fucking hoodie and jeans.
He wore a sweater in the middle of summer when it's plus 30 out, going on a hike, and brought no water. That was his first year.
Cuddles, I hope you listen to this. Because
so we told him. Next, you can't do this. And we were trying to get him to take off a sweater. You need to take it off. You're about to have a heat stroke. He was passing out from the heat. Right? And we were sharing water with him, like, dude, like, take it off. And we eventually got him cooled down. We sat him down. We fanned him for a while. We actually took out paper and fanned him for a while. And got him, lowered his temperature. And he went back and he drank a shit ton of cold water and beer. But so the next year we told him so the next time we go camping is at Banff, and we went on this Johnston Canyon 10-kilometer hike. It's 5 kilometers there, 5 kilometers back.
He went t-shirt, but I think he still wore jeans.
He at least this time wore proper clothing.
Yeah.
He wore t-shirts. He had shorts in case he needed to switch out. He was all good, right?
And he brought water.
And
not
he
much,
brought a
but
little
he brought
bit of
water.
water. And that's what we told him. So we're telling him this 21K hike. You didn't bring enough. You end up having to share with people. You have to bring a proper amount of water on this hike. Okay? We tell him, like, you at least need to have a gallon water pack with you and a couple water bottles.
Canyon?
Johnston Canyon, the if you go up to the ink pot, is 5 kilometers to the ink, 5 kilometers back.
Yeah.
And it's a good hike, but you don't, if you go to the first 2 falls, it's fine. It's a steady incline, pretty shallow.
Yeah, okay, so that's where Merlin wanted to turn back.
Yeah.
But
everybody wanted to go to the ink pot.
Yeah, the ink pots, you have to climb the mountain. And I mean,
not legitimately. It's just a really high incline. It's probably a 60-degree incline.
But you have to go back down the other side, and then you have to go back up and come back down again to get back out.
Yeah.
Stupid fucking people. Who does that shit?
Yeah. So at least this backcountry, I'll give you something. I know you're not going to come on the backcountry, but the backcountry hike we're taking this year is 21 kilometers one direction. But it's 21 kilometers at the same incline up the mountain.
Yeah. Okay, that's not bad if it's constant.
So when we come back, it's at the same steep incline that we had going up to the ink pot, but it's like that the whole way, one direction. And you know what? You might not like that, but on the way back, it's easy. I've done 10 kilometers up this one before, and it's real easy back. What took me 45 minutes to go up took me... I was running. And this was that year I was doing all the running that year. Remember? I did like fun runs and all that.
Kusai would literally run
I could do 10K pretty good.
When I say Kusai does
point out, I'm a big guy,
he literally runs
but
up
even
mountains.
My friends are a little amazed at how quickly I go up stuff. I go up stuff pretty quick. I pick a certain speed and I keep it the whole way. But
mostly
it took me
because
that long
he's too dumb to stop.
Yeah. Anyway, it's easier on my knees, honestly, to tell you the truth.
Oh, fuck.
Anyways, but on the way back, it's so steep, and I learned. I was a teacher, an outdoor eds teacher, that showed us how to skip down a trail. So it's quicker, it's easier on your knees, and you get back down quicker. What took me 45 minutes to go up took me 15 minutes to get down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I ran up that and went as far as I could get up that, and so I was back before you guys were even done at the hot springs that day.
Mm-hmm.
But this one's gonna be a 6-hour hike to go the full length and to not die. And I say 6 hours because I know for a fact, jukebox and
jukebox and Cuddles are gonna have to stop.
And and they're gonna have to stop. And Woodhouse is coming too.
Is Woodhouse gonna have to stop though? Woodhouse, I have faith could probably
Woodhouse keeps up with me.
Yeah.
Now, saying that, and I love all my friends, but Jukebox is about the only one I think ready for a backcountry camping day.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
mean, Woodhouse I think would do okay. Jukebox, I think with you would do okay.
Jukebox has done backcountry camping, so he knows what to expect on
Wood,
backcountry camping.
yeah, Woodhouse I would have faith in.
Woodhouse, I think, would adjust quickly. Okay, I don't know if he knows what to expect, but he would adjust pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Cuddles, I'm a little like, is he going to adjust quickly to this? This is the place this is the kind of camping where you legitimately have to hang your food away from your campsite.
So what we do is actually we put it back in cars. When we're front country camping, we just lock it in the cars because hard walls, the bears can't get into it.
And they usually can't smell it because it's, sealed.
Where Kusai is camping, the closest road is 20 kilometers away, or
by
14
foot.
miles.
Yeah.
So they're carrying food and tents and clothes, and like they're carrying this shit in.
Now, I'm gonna let you. I'll be back in a sec. My wife is downstairs, and she wants me to let her in.
Rude.
So we'll just take a pause, and I'll be back.
It's the interval song. Do 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 do. It's the interval song. Do 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 do. I am singing the interval song. This isn't really a real song. I bet you couldn't tell, 'cause fuck, I'm really good. But this is the interval song. It is really bad. The interval song, the interval song. This is the interval song. I am singing the interval song. I can't hold that anymore. This is the number 2 interval song. I wanna be da-da. I can't think of any words to say, so I'm just gonna talk. I'm gonna talk about my kitty. He's laying beside me. He's kinda curled up in a ball. I kinda have to pee, but I can wait. 'Cause unlike Kusai, I'm not gonna make you wait. Otherwise I might die. 'Cause I have to pee. Yes, I really do. But luckily, it's not a number 2. And I can't help but sing all these songs. And I don't want to be free. I just want to be me. So the fun part is, I have no plans on how to sing or what I'm singing. I'm kind of just making shit up as we go. Obviously, I just wrote that.
Hey, I'm back.
Wow, that was well timed. So you are not allowed to cut any of the audio. Oh, actually, I guess it's Jukebox that does the audio editing. You're not allowed to cut any of the audio in that because
Why?
We had an interval song. We actually had about
With who?
6.
With who?
I might have just sang the entire time you were gone.
Okay. So yeah, no, to get back, and I'm kind of, curious of how they're gonna take it. Like, this is backcountry camping. Like, the one thing I don't think they're gonna realize, except for it obviously has, is that in a national park, when you do backcountry camping, all your garbage you create, you have to pack up and bring back out.
Yeah, you're not allowed to leave it there.
Yeah, and I don't know how Cuddles is gonna feel about the bathrooms.
It's
At least we don't have to. No, we don't have to dig. Because they're national parks, we don't have to dig unless we go to Mystery Mountain, which is actually you walk through the national park, out of the national park and into a an unsanctioned campsite. Then you'd have to dig your own poop hole. But it's a pit. It's a pit thing. There are no walls, and you're sitting on. You get a good view of the mountains while you're taking your poop, but there's no walls or protection. You're literally sitting on a little hill with a pit.
So you're dropping a deuce and watching a goose. Caca.
Yeah. So, and the only other thing I think that they might worry, well, Cuddles might worry about is fording a river.
Why do you guys have to ford a river?
To get to the camp, there's a river. The thing in backcountry camping and backcountry hiking, you have to ford a river.
Kusai, that's not a real path. You're just walking through. You're just wandering aimlessly in the woods. If you have no. Okay, fording a river is like lifting all your shit over your head and going through, like walking through the river. If you have to do that, that's not a path.
No, it actually is. It's actually on the Banff and Jasper maps, and they actually tell you will have to ford a river.
Oh, you guys are fucked.
See, I'm fine with this, and I have plans. I plan on bringing a harness. I plan on bringing rope and all the carabiners so that I can guide them across, and an inflatable one of those little inflatable rafts, the little tiny ones, so they can put their stuff in and we can carry it across real easy.
You know Cuddles is gonna jump in that raft. You better get a fucking dinghy.
Yeah, and we'll do that because it'll be fun. Right?
You know what you could actually do though? Speaking as a rope rescue guy, if you've got a long enough rope, you could actually get a dinghy and attach. So, like, take the rope, stretch it across the river, and tie it to a tree on each end, fairly tight.
That's what I'm doing.
So tie it to a tree on each end, and then carabine the front of the dinghy to the rope, so that like the water current would pull it downstream, but the front of it would stay on the rope, and then all of you sit in the dinghy and just like ferry yourself over like they used to on the ferry lines where they had the actual suspension rope. Just do that.
Yeah, that's actually what I was planning on doing. So
I would honestly just leave the dinghy there then after.
Well, we're gonna set it up and we're gonna leave it there, and then so we can use it when we get back, and then when we get back we'll take it down and.
I would almost just leave it there. Have a pull rope. Oh, you can't.
We would get in trouble for it. You have to take everything. You have to remove everything you use. So we can leave it up there while we're there, probably, and nobody would call us on it because we were out there when we set it up. We would be like, we set it up so we can get back afterwards, right? But they wouldn't want us to leave it there.
If you're gonna do that though, have an extra piece of rope that is twice the length of whatever the first rope is. Tie the middle of it to the dinghy and then each end to the trees, so that once one person crosses, they can just pull the rope, like the feed line, they can just pull the dinghy back to the other side.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, I will be bringing a life jacket for this. So.
Well, I mean, that's no fun.
I don't have high hopes for you guys. I think you're all gonna die.
See,
the missus is here.
I'm with the missus.
I think we'll do fine. And you know, like, what we were gonna have to do is probably do a little bit of extra hiking to make it a little safer. Is I know that the river that we have to ford, it becomes thinner and almost like a little stream, almost like a creek, further up the river.
No.
So we might have to. We might have to.
Do not leave the trail. You've done that before. Hey, the missus. How long was Kusai lost on that walk when we were all trying to leave? 3.5 hours?
I have no idea because I had already left.
Oh, did you?
It was. Yeah, and I'll point out I timed that, and it wasn't you that caused the issue. It was Michael who left.
For you.
Well, yeah, you stayed behind. I was maybe only half an hour later than you guys were expecting me, but was it Cuddles and Michael went off walking, and they took the wrong trail to go look for me. There was literally signs. They're like, here's a sign that says Pocahontas Campground. That's where Daniela was coming from. And this other one, Mountain Trail. And they went down the one they went down the trail for half an hour down the one that says that goes around the mountain.
Yeah.
They thought they were going to find me on that one. I'm like, really? Because if you'd gone up the other one, you would have ran into me.
Well, no, because you left the trail. I mean, granted,
I left
you
the
had
trail.
a reason.
And I only left it for a short bit. I left it just enough to get around what was blocking my way and then got right back on the trail.
And what was
And
blocking your way?
Bees. And I'm
And
allergic.
that should have been a fucking hint.
You don't know that.
I remember, be quiet.
Me or
I'm
her?
allergic. She just. Anyways, I've
He's
never.
not allergic.
We don't
He's
know.
Just
I'm scared. I have a phobia of bees. I've never been stung, so I don't know if I'm allergic or not.
That's fair. That's fair. Bee stings suck. I had one when I was a kid, and like it sucked.
I am 27 years old. I have never been bitten by a hornet, stung by a bee or wasp, or bit by a wasp. I plan on keeping it like that.
Wait, you're 20? Am I 25 or 26?
Well, I'm turning 27 this July.
Oh, okay. Because like I'm almost exactly a year behind you. I'm a year and a month.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, a year and a month. No. 11 months. I don't know. I'm a year younger than you, off a month. Anyways.
Yeah, you're either 11 months younger than me or
a year and a month.
13 months.
Yeah.
13 months. So.
Anyways.
It's just a month. So yeah, and I plan on keeping it that way. So, and I went off the trail. Now, being as it says, I did have a map, I did have a compass, and I do know how to orienteer. So I'm not like useless when it comes out. Now, when you go backcountry camping, they tell you might have to go off trail, but you need to have your compass, you need to have your map, you need to know how to orienteer. Because there are sections where because it's backcountries aren't as well maintained as front country hiking, you may have to find a way around something blocking the trail. And you need to then know how to get back on the trail. Now, our camping one is fairly easy. Once you get hit a certain section of a thing, it is literally the same degree up northeast of the hike thing. So as long as we follow our compass in that same direction, we should be fine. Right?
They're going to get lost.
And it's not... We're not. And I plan on bringing all the stuff out there for safety. Like, I have a flare gun. I have the screecher whistle. We'll have all the stuff that we need.
So the missus, how long do we think they're going to be lost?
And if we get really lost, all we have to do is head back in the direction we came from. We hit the river, and we know we just have to cross and go back down, and it literally leads back to me at Hot Springs.
And which one's getting eaten first?
Cuddles.
Yeah. I would think so, because he's going to feed you guys the most, and he's going to eat the most.
Man, I was hiking back with Cuddles the last time we went hiking, and we had to stop every 2 minutes.
Yep.
Like, that kid's gonna die out there.
And if a bear
we've already
us,
said that. I legitimately thought he was going to go into cardiac last time.
Cuddles, if a bear attacks us, I'm sorry, but Cuddles is the slowest in the group.
But you could also help that. Just give him a little trip. Although, once Cuddles gets moving, Jesus fuck. He might take that bear.
I'm not so afraid of bears in that where we're going. I'm more afraid if we run into a cougar. Even with the four of us, like with four of us, we could probably scare a bear away if we're lucky.
Well, we had the bear in the campground last time we went, because we had Tarp City over our tents. Fucking middle of the night, because I think I got up to pee. Middle of the night, I hear rustling, and I'm like, Chris, are you peeing? No. Mike? No. And then the next thing we fucking hear is... I'm like, okay, good night, guys. Everyone roll over, go to bed. So shuffle. And then it fucking sauntered off. But that was like within 3 feet of the doors of our tents.
Yeah. Now, the only big mistake I've ever made camping and hiking was you don't, guys, I'm going to point out, warning, do never go against the rules of hiking and camping, especially just for something as a phone call. Now, the first year we went, my wife had to leave to go back to work early. But she was going to be back at home around dusk. Now, I wanted to call and make sure she got back all right, right? Well, our campsite, the Pocahontas campground, this is nice in some ways, but
oh yeah,
not
you got to walk
others.
up the hill for cell phone.
There's no cell phone. Yeah, you have to go onto the trail. So I'm like, we're close by. There's noisy people, so it might scare away any wildlife, and I should be able to get away, at beginning of dusk with getting a phone call in, right?
And I mean, you're still technically in the campground. It's like 3 minutes out.
So I go out about a kilometer out onto the trail, and it's still kind of the way that campground's built. You're still kind of in the middle of the campground. So I go out onto the trail. I get the phone call. I get a hold of my wife, and I'm camping, and I hear crack, 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 and I turn around, and I hear crack, right? I'm like, okay, maybe it's just a deer, and it's going away. I'm like, okay. So I turn away again. It comes close, crack, crack, and closer. I turn around again, and I see a cougar.
And the cougar saw steak.
And here I am. I slowly pull out my bear mace and unsafety it. I pull out my big ass Bowie knife, and I'm like on the phone with my wife, and I'm like, I'm going to talk louder now.
Yeah. He's getting ready to Rambo this shit. Like, come on, kitty, let's do this.
Well, just in case it did jump at me, right? I'm like, I don't want to be caught with my pants down if this thing decides to lunge at me.
Yeah, you never want it to bite you in the dick. That's bad.
So I start walking backwards and keep facing it, and then I start sprinting backwards when I get a good distance away. Like,
which,
I
again is something that you can actually do, which is fucking weird.
Literally ran as fast as I could backwards all the way back to the campsite.
Yeah, because if you turn your back is when it's going to jump.
Well, that's why it did it twice. It's like, when you see those videos of cats, cougars are essentially your house cat, but 100 pounds heavier.
100 pounds heavier? Like 400, 600 pounds heavier.
This was a smaller one, but yeah, this one was probably about 280, 300.
Yeah, those are big fucking cats, and that's pure muscle.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here going like, well, okay, like at least I have the same weight as this thing.
Yeah. Good luck.
I was just afraid I was going to have to. What I was going to try to do is I was going to try to put the knife as it lunged between me and it and spray the bear mace in its mouth. That was like, that's my only chance, really.
Yeah.
And the only mistake I made there was that it was dusk and I went out. You don't go out early in the morning. You don't go during the break of dawn, and you don't go at dusk. So, and as long as you do that, like the rest of the things you guys thought I was dangerous, you can hike by yourself, but there's things you have to do when you hike by yourself during the day.
Make
you have
noise
to let people
constantly.
You have to let people know where you are. So if something does happen, they know where to go look for you guys. Go down the right trail when you go looking for me too. If you thought, also guys, don't panic when I'm late by 20 or 30 minutes. Don't go looking after. Oh, he's 20 minutes late. Let's go look for him.
I was just annoyed.
You were
annoyed.
They're
like, okay, we gotta go find him. I'm like, no, we don't. He'll be back in an hour. We're gonna go find him. We gotta go find him. If you go find him, you're going to get lost. Well, no,
and we're
fine. We're gonna go find him. And they get fucking lost.
And they got lost. And I'm like, and they went down. There were signs.
To be fair, Cuddles was the follower in that situation, and the leader in that situation was not the brightest.
No. And oh god,
why do I hang out with you people?
and I like when they told me where they went, I'm like, guys, there was literally a sign saying Pocahontas Campground, and you went the other trail, the one that says it goes around the mountain. I'm like, how are you expecting to find me? I'm glad they turned back after an hour, because if they hadn't, we would have had to go looking for them. That trail gets a little complicated as you get a couple hours down it.
Yeah, I just wanted to sit at the campfire and wait.
Well, you guys knew you were gonna meet me at the. You guys were gonna meet.
Oh
me
yeah,
at the
we were
bottom
gonna meet you at the bottom because there's pictures there.
I had already packed all my stuff and loaded it into your guys' vehicles because the missus had taken our vehicle, and I was like, well, you guys are gonna be a while, and you guys hadn't like barely even started packing, so I was like,
I mean, no, you and I were done. Merlin and
everybody
Merlin was done with us, but like again, fucking Mike.
Everybody else was gonna take a while. I asked how long they were gonna be. Like, well, we're gonna be 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, well, it only takes 45 minutes to get down there, so I should be good. And if there hadn't been the bees that had fallen onto the trail, I would have been there earlier than you guys had been there. But I'd go off trail, and in that section of trail, it takes a little bit to get back to the trail once you go off of it. So I was about somewhere about 20-30 minutes later than I should have been. So I tacked that onto a 45-minute hike.
Yeah.
And and I bet you guys were even 10 minutes late probably, but they waited like 20 minutes probably and then went off looking for me. And you wanted to wait at the base where there was a picnic ground and wait for me.
Exactly where we said we were going to meet.
And exactly what you should do. Like if I was an hour or two late, if you guys were like, if it was an hour in after an hour after you were expecting to see me,
Then we
I can
send
see
a
you guys
search party, go down this trail 20 minutes, turn around, come back. That's it.
And like I told them, like the only thing that I could have thinking, like they like, what would happen if you got hurt? Unless I got knocked out, right? Then I have a screecher whistle. I have what's called an S.O.S bag on me at all times when I go hiking. I have a mirror. I have a screecher whistle. I have a flint and steel. I have a thermal blanket. And it's all pocket size. I have that with me. And then if I got hurt, I would pull the screecher whistle out and and you guys would have heard that. You can hear those things from a couple kilometers off.
Yeah.
And in the mountains and where I was, it would have echoed and you guys would have heard it. Other people would have come down. There was other people on the trail. So they just panicked. And yeah. But that's what happens. Like, and that's how shit like that happens is people panic a little bit. I've hiked by myself since and before that and never had issues. I used to hike in provincial parks all the time. But yeah. And that's why I'm fine going backcountry hiking. Yeah. But backcountry, I'm not willing to go by myself. Backcountry, you should really have somebody with you. You can go backcountry camping and hiking by yourself, but you really, really should have somebody else there with you.
See, this is why I just don't go hiking. When I go camping, I wake up early morning. I start a nice fire for the ladies so that they can warm up. Not cooking fire. Start a nice fire for the ladies so that as they wake up, they can wake up, come straight to the campfire, warm up, and then we'll cook after. And then I'll just tend to the fire. I'll relax. I'll have a drink or two, maybe a couple beer type thing. We'll have some lunch. Maybe we'll go to the hot springs in the evenings. But, like, that's my camping. At night.
You know what I am looking forward to?
Like, that's it. None of this hiking bullshit.
You want to know what I'm looking forward to with this backcountry? It's just guys, and no offense to my wife who's sitting next to me right now,
and is
or any of the girls
for whatever you're about to say.
They like having a diverse diet when they go, so they don't want the same thing every night.
Oh, I could do hot dogs every night.
I think what we're gonna do is maybe diversify it a little bit. It might be like
we're gonna pick berries,
hot dogs, burgers, and maybe a steak.
Yeah, like that I could do. The ladies want tacos and pancakes and like.
But we're guys. We do that anyways at home. If it wasn't for, be honest, you know what my original plan was for when I moved out when I was 18? I was gonna buy a year's supply of Kraft Dinner from Costco, spices, and ketchup. And I was gonna experiment with Kraft Dinner the whole year. I would have been totally fine with that at 18.
Well, I mean, for me, because I used to work oil industry.
I have a story about distinct kusai here. So I was away for 4 weeks, and I left my credit card with him. And when I went to look at my credit card statements, almost every single day it had McDonald's on it.
Yep.
It was fair. The same order every day too. It wasn't even a different order every day. It was the same food, same order every day.
So when I was working oil industry and we had what's called shutdowns, they shut the factories down, which means they're losing millions of dollars a day. So they do 24/7 maintenance for about 3 months, open it back up. They do that every couple of years, where they'll do one part of the plant in the spring, one part of the plant in the fall, that sort of stuff. When I'm on shutdowns, I take a George Foreman grill and President's Choice Blue Menu lean burgers. And I will have 3 burgers for, like, say I'm working 6 to 6. I'll have 3 burgers at 9. And then I'll have 3 burgers at 3. And then that's my food for the day. Like, I literally eat the same burgers for 3 months every day, day in, day out.
I have a reason for my weird diet sometimes. Like, I eat... Okay, I don't get hungry. I'm going to point out. Okay? I don't notice when I get hungry. How I tell when I get hungry is my acid reflux starts acting up, and I'm like, well, I should put food in my stomach. My stomach's starting to complain that way.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I don't feel hungry. So, like, I've gone 4 days without eating before. And I don't get hungry. Like, you guys talk about stomach pains and stuff like that. As long as my acid reflux isn't acting up, I don't feel anything in my stomach, so I'll forget to eat.
Because you fucked your metabolism.
Yeah. So, I can go, but what's the dumbest thing I've probably ever done, I realized I lost weight doing this, eating McDonald's, but you know what I was doing? I had a 12-hour shift night job one time and for a while, and what I would do is when I was leaving for my shift, I would pick up a double Big Mac, drive to work, do a 12-hour shift, and then when I came back, grab another double Big Mac after 12 hours, and that's all I ate every day.
I did the same thing, but it wasn't double Big Macs. It was usually like a quarter pounder and a snack wrap and a drink. But yeah, like you eat on the way in, and then after 14, 16 hours on the way back, you eat again, and that's it. So
yeah. Or sometimes when I'm stressed out, because acid reflux is affected by stress. When I'm stressed, my acid reflux adds up, so I eat. See, but it's not because I'm hungry. It's because my stomach's deciding it feels like it wants to burn my throat.
Yeah, I don't have acid reflux. When I worked security, I was too poor to afford food, and I didn't have time, and so I just didn't eat. You would eat once a day, twice a day, and now that's just kind of my normal. But and
that's kind of why my weight.
I'll eat a 3/4 pizza to myself once a day, and that's it.
Oh, and while we're talking about stuff we're doing in the summer, though, we were talking about that. Guess what I get to do this summer? I take archaeology at the university, and I get to go on my first field school this summer. And because of where it is, I get to do two of my favorite things this summer for it. I have to go camping, right? Where we are, we'll have to camp for the site, and to get out there to save money, I'll be riding my motorcycle.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Get to do. And that's actually what we're doing for that 21K hike. We're going to take our motorcycles up to the site. And for the two people that are coming
who's riding bitch with?
We don't have a nickname for him now. We'll call him Jazz Dude for now.
Jazz Dude.
So we'll just call him Midnight.
Okay.
Midnight.
Or Pothead.
So we'll go with Midnight. So he's gonna be him. It's gonna be the three of us on the motorcycles, and three of us. It's now up to 6 people coming, and 3 of us driving up in a car.
You fucking have fun. Is Jukebox taking the Mustang, or are they gonna take Midnight's minivan?
I think they're gonna take Midnight's minivan.
Yeah, it's probably easier.
What's nice about this,
except then Dragon doesn't have the minivan for the little guy.
She has the car.
That's a pain in the ass for her, though.
Either that, or we could take the car, and we'll.
Yeah, that's true. Just take Cuddle's truck.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll pack it into one vehicle for that. And we'll put all the camping stuff in the one vehicle. It's big enough, and then the rest of us will drive up with our motorcycles.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
It's gonna be fun.
I don't have my KLR anymore. Otherwise, I might have actually gone out just for the ride with you guys and then ridden back.
It's a nice way out there.
Yeah.
Getting there. That being said, we have seen an accident or two from motorcycles out in that area.
Dude, I stopped not last year, the year before. I had some guy die in my arms. Tonight,
yeah, I remember that.
It wasn't even something I said.
He had a deer jump in front of him, and he didn't spot the deer on the tree line. That's the biggest thing when you're riding in the mountains.
He was on a motorcycle, and it cleared the bike, but it didn't clear his face.
Well, and the thing is, he should have seen the deer before he came out of the thing. Well, if you've ever driven in Jasper or Banff, there is a big gap between the tree line and the side of the road.
Yeah, but those fuckers are fast. Like, you don't have reaction time.
Well, you have to be watching, and I've had deer jump out in front of me in those areas. But the thing is, you have to be really searching that thing. The two biggest mistakes people do while riding a motorcycle is they don't scan far enough ahead, and they don't pay attention when they do either. So you really have to be, you scan cars, you're supposed to be scanning 2 seconds ahead. So, right? You should be really scanning about 6 seconds ahead to 7 seconds ahead on a motorcycle.
That being said, though, because I worked on these roads that aren't technically roads and all that, like, I've driven places that people should not be able to drive. And in a lot of them, you have 40, 50, 60 feet road to tree line. I have had deers like 1.5 inches off my bumper that I didn't see. And I scan. I am trained for this shit. Like,
and then it's also your reaction time. It's your reaction time after that. he really, when the deer came across, he should have laid his motorcycle down, and most people aren't willing to do that.
He probably didn't even fucking see it. Like, I can guarantee you it happened so fast he didn't see it.
You have to be really quick on a motorcycle, and I've been saved because I've been paying attention and had a quick enough reaction time to the thing. I've had people try running me off the road. I've narrowly had to lay my motorcycle down a couple times because of what other people have done.
I did actually have some guy, although I was in the car and he was on the bike. So I'm passing this guy, and like he sees me there. Or no, sorry, I was in the fast lane, and these two bikes pass me on the right side. And then they get stuck in behind a car, and like we're the only two cars on the road, so he fucking knows I'm there. As I'm coming up to pass that car, this bike, big cruiser, like big guy, muscle shirt, like that typical douchebag, like.
Oh, did he actually have a did he actually have a muscle shirt on? And no jacket?
It was a t-shirt with a leather vest, but like handlebar mustache and like
he's a squid,
whatever it is, but like big Harley guy, you know the type. And, like, I'm just about to pass them and this other car. I am passing them, and this guy just... I saw him do the lean, like you lean out and then into the turn. I saw him do this big fucking sweep, and I put my car on the shoulder and just fucking lay on the horn. Because otherwise this guy was going to check my car.
Like I said, there are both dumbasses in the cars and on the motorcycles.
Yeah, absolutely.
It happens.
So, like...
Though
I actually, he didn't even slow down or speed up to let me back on the road. It was probably a half kilometer I was on the shoulder until he finally looked to the left, and I'm on my horn this whole fucking time. He looks to his left, and he's like, "The fuck are you doing?" And then, like, speeds off. Like, it's my fault.
He gave you shit?
Yeah, he gave me that look like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You know, that look where like, "Why the fuck are you driving on the shoulder?" Because you're a fucking moron.
Yeah, and it happens. And you know, I've seen it on both sides. And you know, but you know what? Funny little terminology. Do you know what some old motorcyclists call cars, people in cars and trucks and all that? You know what they call it? Yeah, monkey cages, because that's what they are. They're people in monkey cages. And not to be thin, it's not always the person's fault, but like, you're in a car, it has a lot of blind spots, and you can't hear or see as much.
It's got a lot of blind spots, and it's got safety, so people aren't as concerned because we're safe.
And they don't get it sometimes when they cut you off. I've had people like, "Oh, why are you getting so freaked out? Because you nearly killed me."
Yeah.
This isn't like
you're
get into
fine.
A car
we
accident.
would have just had a bump. No, you've got protection. I've got my face in your windshield.
And you can ask me and Woodhouse. We've both been thrown from our motorcycles. It's not fun.
I haven't been thrown. I did tip the bike once. I came out of a ditch, and my back tire was spinning, and as soon as it caught asphalt, it just went straight vertical, like nose up, and then fell to the side. But like, I have put the bike sideways, stopping. And
I've done that too, and
drifted
it's not fun.
Into a stop, or like brought the fucking rear tire up in a stop. And my bike is a 500-pound like cross country adventure bike. It is not a light bike, and it is not meant to be able to do this shit.
Yeah, you don't want to do stuff like that. It happens, and like mistakes. Biggest mistake people make on a new motorcycle is they get too big of a motorcycle for their first time. To be fair, the bike only goes as fast as you turn that throttle, but people get too comfortable too fast. Well, it's the slow controls too as well. When they come to a stop and they slow down, they can't keep the balance of the bike.
Oh, the heavy bike,
Yeah, like I've talked to instructors who test, and they say like people will give their sons like their first time riding a motorcycle. They'll buy a new motorcycle, never driven, and get an 800-pound to a 1,100-pound motorcycle, and have never ridden it before. And they go for their test, and they come to like a stop, like a red light, or coming out of a thing, and they've had to help the one guy said he had to help a 16-year-old kid whose dad lent him his Vulcan, which is an 1,100-pound motorcycle, to do his test. Never driven in the motorcycle before, and got it out of the parking lot fine. He stopped at the edge of the parking lot fine, but when he came to a red light, it fell over and pinned him on the ground.
Yeah. See, I again, I am a very large person. Like I'm heavy, but I'm like 6'4". So I mean, I'm not a small guy in any measurement.
That bike was probably a little small for you.
The KL, no, it was perfect because it was a very vertical bike, and
no, I'm talking about the engine size.
Oh, yeah, like I lacked power once I hit the highway. But what I'm saying is it's a 500-pound bike, and it's extremely tall. If you've ever seen a KLR in person, are they tall?
Yeah, I have.
But for me, like, I can handle that. If I was on a sports bike, it would be like a fucking toy. But like I've seen people very, very tiny ride those bikes with very, very little experience. And like I'm afraid that those bikes are gonna crush the guy. So
yeah. Well, I'm gonna leave you with the missus here.
I'm leaving.
No, we're actually all leaving because I've got Schulte coming over. I'm gonna finish Baymax today.
Yeah, I have to go move my art projects out of my classroom.
Oh God.
They're like, yeah. I have to call Woodhouse here soon to borrow his truck because we have to take out the 1982 Mitsubishi rear projector TV that I brought, 36-inch.
Okay, well, before you start talking about all that, because I know you'll never stop.
I'm just mentioning that because you thought it was. I had you going for a while thinking that it was.
Yeah. So, okay, you're gonna start talking again, and before you do, I'm just cutting you off. This is a very unconventional podcast for us, just kind of a chat as opposed to any real.
Well, we talked about summer stuff. We talked about things we did in the summer, what we do, who we are.
So there was no video games.
Spring topics.
There's no video games. There's no news, anything like that. But hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did,
and this can still be considered geeky.
Stop talking. He just keeps going. If you guys did enjoy it, leave a mention in the comments, and maybe we can do more of just this style of format. If you guys like the electronics and the news stuff more, let us know that. Maybe we'll split and start doing 2 a week.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
I'll point out this is still following our general topics. This is hiking, camping, carnies. This can all be considered geeky and nerdy topics, and we went into like being what we consider geeky level information on each of these topics. So yes, we did add personal stuff into it, but it still follows our general topics of geeky and nerdy shit.
Kusai is stretching, but anyways,
I'm
gonna sign off.
But
I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm gonna make Kusai stop talking before he just keeps going. You are welcome.
This is the Stink Kusai. Goodbye.
This is Scufflewick. I am now the second prettiest. The missus,
no, even lower than that.
The missus, you gotta say bye.
Oh, she disappeared on us.
All right, well, the missus says bye, so I'm back to the prettiest. Okay, bye.
Bye. See you. Remember, if you liked what you heard today, please remember to subscribe and like the video. And if you would like to hear anything particular, don't forget to comment down below. Thank you and have a nice day.